Mr. Deputy Speaker. Le MMM, pour sa part, est contre le Political Financing Bill dans sa forme actuelle, et le MMM ne votera pas pour l'amendement constitutionnel qui vise à mettre en pratique le Political Financing Bill sur lequel nous ne sommes pas d'accord. Nous ne voterons pas l'amendement constitutionnel et nous souhaitons que les autres partis de l'opposition fassent de même. I think the first point which needs to be made and which the Honourable Leader of the Opposition made before me is how different the bill that is before the House, how different it is from what was proposed only 6 months ago. 6 months ago, government circulated a paper, November 2018, with precise proposals. And now on a few fundamental points, what is being proposed 6 months later is the opposite, is completely different. C'est pas sérieux. The two main points, as far as I'm concerned, one is the need for some public financing of political parties, some state funding. We've heard why, supposedly, and that was in the November 2018 proposals. In the November 2018, we call it white paper or orange paper, whatever. This was provided for, and it's been like that since Sachs. And more and more, it's like there is some state funding in all genuine democracies. This changes. Supposedly just because there were negative comments in the public at that time, but it is not our role is not just to follow what we hear on radios and so on. And I believe things have changed a lot recently. We believe that it was right to provide for some state financing, and it is wrong to have done away with that. Because let's be frank about it. Without some state financing, what is the alternative? What is the result? That private firms influence elections even more than now. Is that progress? Is that democratic progress? No. Therefore, our fundamental disagreement is on that. But at the same time, we can't agree that on the one hand, no state financing, but a maximum expenditure of 80, I'll leave Rodriguez out of it for the time being, but a maximum expenditure of 80 million rupees per party. I mean, we don't agree. We feel that this maximum amount, I agree that it's a maximum amount, but it's a maximum amount is much too high. That is why I appeal to the population, to everybody. And as I said, I believe that these days public opinion is changing on that. More and more people realize that there need to be some state funding because the alternative is leaving political parties in the hands of private firms completely. We shouldn't fool people. Contributions from our members of parliament, contributions from our members of different political parties, that doesn't travel very far. So that is the main difference between what was proposed 6 months ago and what is being proposed now that we disagree with. The second point is in the proposals of 6 months ago, it was on 3 or 4 occasions it was said that the names of individual private firms contributing will not be in the public domain. I'll take 2 examples. The treasurer of each political party should prepare a statement of accounts at page 2 of the November 2018 document proposal, and it said the statement would not indicate the names of donors. And later on, the document comes back onto that. It says the electoral registered political parties will be required to submit their annual audited accounts to the Electoral Supervisory Commission within a period of 2 months after the end of each financial year or from the date of poll in an election year. Such accounts will indicate inter alia the total amount received as a donation from private companies and the total amount received from individuals, and it was provided for again. However, I quote, however, these accounts would not include the names of individual donors and will be made available for consultation to the public by the ESC. So it was provided for that the names of individual firms would not be in the public domain. These are the 2 big differences between what was proposed only 6 months ago and what is proposed today. I think that there is a tentative de mainmise dangereuse through those proposals, if not today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. I think the purpose, the dual purpose is, on the one hand, une mainmise sur le fonctionnement des partis politiques, and secondly, de faire peur. Mauritius, I heard somebody say, Mauritius is a small place, everybody knows everybody. Yes, the purpose is also faire peur aux firmes privées. So what is the threat? The threat is that political parties found themselves dans une tenaille, une véritable tenaille antidémocratique. On the one hand, no public funding at all. On the other, frightened to the maximum private firms because their name will be known. Because I quoted the 2018 proposals, which specifically said that the names of individual firms will not be in the public domain. But now what is proposed? I take just one example. Registrar of donations in the bill that is before us. The registrar of donations, every registered political party, independent member or independent candidate shall, for the purposes of this act, keep a register to be known as the register of donations. The register of donations shall contain the monetary donations received, whether in cash, by check, or by electronic means, A, B, C, D, the names and addresses of donors. So this is changing completely, and the danger, as I said, is that political parties will find themselves dans une véritable tenaille antidémocratique. On the one hand, no public financing at all. On the other hand, frightened private firms to the maximum. This is very, very dangerous for today, for tomorrow, and for the day after tomorrow. Of course, there must be a way for transparency to prevail when dirty money is around. Whether we talk of dirty money that goes into elections from drug traffickers or some bookmakers or corruption, there need to be, and this is not provided for, and I don't pretend to have answers to everything. This is why finally I agree fully with a select committee being set up. There need to be provided in the law a way that going through judges in chambers, through the judiciary, when there is a prima facie case that there is dirty money, either corruption, or certain bookmakers, or, as I said, drug traffickers, there must be in the law for transparency's sake, but not the way this is being proposed to frighten people, Mr. Deputy Speaker. These two things worry me a lot. Tentative de mainmise sur le fonctionnement, if not today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, une tentative de mainmise sur le fonctionnement des partis politiques. And secondly, faire peur. And there is a third objection as far as we're concerned. This, what is being proposed, is unworkable. So we will have the treasurer. I don't know who will accept to, if that law is voted, who will accept to be a treasurer? When you look for everything, the treasurer sneezes too loudly, 1 million, fine. Left, right, and center, 1 million here, 1 million there. All over the place, 1 million, standard. We know that there is another standard, 15 million. That's another matter. But here, 1 million, all over the place, fines. Secondly, we are supposed that poor treasurer is supposed to keep vouchers for the whole of the electoral campaign, supposedly. Vouchers for every expenditure occurred across Mauritius for an expenditure of more than 5,000 rupees. No, honestly. A campaign throughout Mauritius, and the poor treasurer, well, poor, I don't know, but the treasurer is the only one who can collect contributions. We stand as candidates. Is somebody in the constituency where you're standing, you have ordinary people who want to contribute. I know. Only the treasurer for the whole of Mauritius can accept any donation. But on the other hand, he must keep vouchers for every expenditure across Mauritius for the whole of the electoral campaign and submit to the Electoral Commission after elections. How can this work? The wording, bars, we all agree. What is proposed as well, we are concerned. But headquarters, regional headquarters, no regional headquarters, no headquarters, until the electoral campaign starts. But what is going to happen to the existing? Let's say in Rosehill, we have a regional headquarters which we use nearly every day for genuine political activities. Now, the law says that no regional headquarters will be allowed until the campaign is officially open. I could go on and on like that to show that what is being proposed is unworkable. Unacceptable to us for other reasons which I've just explained, but it is also unworkable, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Having said all this, let me make it clear that when I say that mainmise sur les partis politiques, today, tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, I am not targeting at all the present commission, electoral commission, or the present electoral commission. Not at all. But we legislate not just for today, we legislate for tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. But I want to make it clear, I think the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commissioner have until now done a great job. It's not without reason that across the Commonwealth, in our region, people seek the assistance of our electoral commissioner. We have reason to be proud, but things are changing or could change. That is why not only I'm saying that we are not targeting, my comments do not targeting the present electoral commissioner or the present electoral commission. On the contrary, as we know, the Constitution, the supreme law of the country, provides at Section 41 functions of Electoral Supervisory Commission and Electoral Commissioner. It provides that whenever a piece of legislation is going to come to the House, it must be submitted for comments to the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commissioner. And the Constitution spells out that it must be submitted for their comments, for their consideration and comments, in due time, to give them time to offer comments. I have made the request, and I think it would help all of us to make public those comments. And especially I would like to know, I don't think that this final version that we are examining got the green light from the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commission. In its final form, de sa forme finale qui est devant nous. I honestly don't think so, and I think it would be very helpful to make public the comments made by the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commission. It will be helpful for us and for the future also, Mr. Speaker, sir. But at the same time that I praise our Electoral Commission, the present Electoral Commission and Electoral Commissioner. But yes, certain things have happened that need to worry us. We should be very, very careful, or rather the acting president should be very, very careful, because this is one, I believe that the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commissioner, with due respect to the judiciary, but finally, the most important institution in Mauritius are the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commissioner, because everything else flows from that. If we lose that battle to preserve the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commissioner, we can lose everything, including the judiciary. If elections, s'il y a fraude électorale, countries after countries are blowing up, have been blowing up all over the place, and not just in Africa, all over the place. Once a population loses faith in the Electoral Commission, in the Electoral Commissioner, that's the beginning of the end. And we see that even these days. I've tried to find out whether there is, we are very lucky in a way, very, very lucky. Because I think we are the only country in the Commonwealth. I've tried to find out whether there is any other country, but I think we are the only country in the Commonwealth which has an electoral commission appointed by the President of the Republic, professionals, independent people, and an electoral commissioner appointed by the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. If somebody knows of any other country which has both these things, please let me know. I've looked all over the place. It's a jewel, this. And the present acting president, and any president, acting or not, it's one of the biggest responsibilities. When people say that the President of the Republic doesn't have much power, no. That power which I'm mentioning, the power to appoint members of the Electoral Commission, goes to the heart of democracy, of our whole democratic setup. Therefore, I think we should be very, very careful, and at least one recent name. I'm not challenging the professionalism of somebody who's been appointed, but that's not the point. It's like we say, justice must be done and must be seen to be done. It's just as important in the case of the Electoral Commission. I have appealed to the acting president. What has happened has happened. We still have a very strong independent Electoral Commission. We still have a very strong independent Electoral Commissioner appointed by the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. That is the jewel in our democratic crown that we must, by all means, preserve intact. So I repeat, I'm not targeting for our part, for my part, we are not targeting the present Commission. But the recent trend is worrying. It must stop there. And the President of the Republic, if he has the occasion to exercise that prerogative, very important, should be very, very, very careful in appointing members of the Electoral Supervisory Commission. I have a feeling, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I have a feeling que nous allons vivre une répétition de ce qui s'est passé dans le cadre de la réforme électorale. Supposedly, government avait essayé de nous convaincre, dans l'opposition, de voter en faveur de ce qu'ils ont proposé, ce que le gouvernement a proposé comme réforme électorale. But what was proposed, it's as if it was designed so that the required three-quarter majority would not be obtained. The galimatia. I have no other word. The galimatia électorale proposée. Une dose de proportionnelle introduite, et ensuite un galimatia that exists only, that was proposed only in Mauritius. To correct, we had a dose de proportionnelle to correct the first past the post system. After we have corrected the first past the post system, then we have a galimatia to correct the correction, to bring us back to square one. That is why, genuinely, I think government wanted the attempt at electoral reform to fail. Government proposed things that they knew would not be accepted by the opposition. Et j'ai l'impression que nous allons vivre un deuxième épisode de ce qui s'est passé dans le cadre de la réforme électorale. Because how to explain, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition was right to point out, if you want consensus, but there is a way of going about it. You know, the government knew that a three-quarter majority was required. And no consultation at all, just bringing the bill like that. So I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong, that as in the case de la réforme électorale, the intention was not to get the three-quarter majority and then to go outside and say, well, it's because of the opposition. We tried electoral reform, we tried control of the financing of political parties. No. What was proposed en termes de réforme électorale was unacceptable. And what is, as far as we are concerned, what is proposed in the political financing bill, dans sa forme actuelle, sa forme qui est devant nous, to us is unacceptable, Mr. Deputy Speaker. All this having been said, let me repeat. The MMM, in 2000-2005, we were together with the MSM, and we did great things. I mean, getting that gentleman from South Africa to come and advise us was something fantastic. We have always been in favor of a good piece of legislation, in relation to les dépenses et les revenus des partis politiques. We've always been in favor of that. We nearly made it in 2000, 2005. Those who want to know why we failed. In both cases, a reform electoral, a financing of political parties. And it's still with us. So we are all in favor, but not this piece of legislation. Not what is being proposed dans sa forme finale. And I believe, yes, except that clearly elections are not that far away. Otherwise, yes, we go along with the idea of having a select committee that can work in a few months. A few weeks would be a tall order, but in a few months, even weeks, a good select committee to look at all this. I don't think anybody, we've been trying since 2000, 2005. So there is no magic, baguette magic. If government really wants to have a consensus, to have a three-quarter majority, because I repeat, le MMM est contre le Political Financing Bill dans sa forme finale, dans sa forme actuelle, dans la forme que ça a pris dans le bill, and we will not vote for an amendment of the Constitution whose purpose is to implement this bill that we are against. But if government wants to show that it is serious, yes, let's have a select committee which can work as rapidly as possible and do a good piece of work, because all that we are discussing goes to the heart of our democratic setup. Que ce soit la réforme électorale, que ce soit le contrôle des dépenses et des revenus des partis politiques, this goes to the heart of our democracy, and we must take time to do what is required and not rush through that kind of legislation. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.